Child's Play Math, Unit 1. About Cuisenaire rods. Okay, why do we choose to use Cuisenaire rods for this program? Well, they are simply the best tool available for introducing and teaching math concepts to young children. They were actually designed by a Belgian teacher who was a music teacher called Use Cuisenaire. And George was mystified by the fact that children found learning arithmetic and math so difficult, so he devised what is now universally accepted as the most complete arithmetic model that there is. Developments within brain-based research confirm the rods as having all of the essential attributes to ensure children learn as effectively as they can. They are particularly effective for all types of learners: visual learners, auditory learners, kinesthetic and tactile learners. Tactile means kind of hands-on, and kinesthetic, usually it means that children have to sort of be empathetic to what they're learning. They have to feel good. It's a learning state, an emotional learning state in effect. Children of all ages benefit from using the rods. In fact, I've used them with adults in a catch-up program which was highly effective, and I think the adults who got involved in the program were surprised not only that they could do math, but that they actually enjoyed it. The rods stimulate insight and understanding from the basic concept of equivalence right up to Pythagoras' theorem and beyond. The program itself is compatible with any scheme of work and is the perfect program for introducing math concepts to children at home or in school. So why do Cuisenaire rods facilitate brain-friendly learning? Well, let's look at the first feature, colour. Colour has been proven to be a greater stimulus to memory recall than verbal cues or objects. Just take a look, for example, at that map of the London Underground. If you were visiting it for the first time and you wanted to get from, say, Hyde Park to the Embankment, and that was all in black and white, imagine how much more difficult it would be if the colour lines weren't all coded. The second factor is imagination. Play with the rods stimulates the imagination. The imagination is in fact the most powerful attribute or ability the brain possesses. Albert Einstein famously said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." Actually, the theory of relativity was almost born when he was daydreaming. I think he was thinking of how a sunbeam could reach the earth and back, and as he thought deeper and deeper, so he began to evolve and develop his theory of relativity. A little bit beyond me, I must confess. Imaging. What do I mean by imaging? Well, 90% of all information that we receive comes to our brain visually. And this little diagram here explains that pretty well. How do games help kids learn? Well, according to Bristol University neuroscientist Paul Howard Jones, it's all about dopamine. And he's used this little visual illustration to put his point across. You might want to read it if you want to, that's fine. But the point is that visual displays are effective means of getting information across. I chose that one because it was to do with brain learning, and how it affects our children. Manual dexterity. What do I mean by manual dexterity? Well, as the children use the rods and constantly manipulate them, obviously they're using their fingers. Now, it's been proved that using the fingers has a positive impact on the mind. Concert pianists, violinists remain alert into their old age and live longer, according to studies, and this is due to the effect of using their fingers regularly in this way. And of course, with the rods, that's exactly what you do. Give them to the rods to the children, and the first thing they will do is play with them, manipulate them, make all sorts of things with them. Okay, the big picture. Now, this is really, really very important. I'll just mention this, that sometimes in special needs education, we are inclined to limit the information, almost drip feed the information to the child. But actually, this is totally the wrong way around. Children need the big picture, and the rods certainly provide that, because, as I said, it is they are regarded as the most complete arithmetic model ever devised. Children need the global overview that Cuisenaire rods provide naturally. If you see this diagram here of a mind map, I don't know if you know anything about mind maps. They were invented by Tony Buzan and are very, very effective ways of helping children to remember and to learn and to disseminate information in a very powerful way. As you can see, they use colour very effectively. Colours for Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and so on. And mind maps are a wonderful resource, but we're not talking about mind maps, we're talking about Cuisenaire rods, but the same principle applies. Children need this global overview that the rods can provide naturally. Well, that's just a short introduction. In the next video, Cuisenaire rods and the traditional approach to teaching maths, we look at how radically different this approach is to the traditional approach to teaching math, and how actually it can lead to accelerated learning for children. Children can be mastering concepts considered far too advanced for their age, and we'll be looking at that next week. Just to remind you as well, I have uploaded a PDF file that explains how to use the software that accompanies the program. I don't recommend using the software instead of the rods. Use them alongside the rods, but there is nothing to substitute the power of the children actually manipulating the rods, whether they wood or plastic. I prefer plastic myself, but obviously there's an expense element comes into this. And in the PDF file, I've included links to various products such as plastic rods, wooden rods, interlocking Cuisenaire rods, just for you to have a look at yourself and choose the one that suits you best. Personally, I go for the wood because I like the feeling of wood. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me. I hope you found that helpful, and we'll be moving on very quickly over the next few weeks. But whatever we do, can I just stress that always give your children time every day to just play with the rods. Play is fundamental, and we'll be looking at that very shortly, and hopefully you'll understand why play is so important. Okay, thanks for your company. Look forward to seeing you next week.